All right, really quick here. Running the test on the knock sensor. Knock sensor is currently hooked up to this meter. Okay, the signal wire from the knock sensor is connected to the positive terminal, and then the negative terminal is connected to ground. And if I cause knock on the sensor, you'll see the voltage go up. And where I'm gonna take this extension here and tap on the engine, and you'll see that that it's picking up the sound. The AC voltage will go up slightly. See that? And then it drops back down to about 55. Let's try it again. Let's try over here. See that? Went up to about 60. 64. Okay. So that means that the knock sensor is working. I got a knock sensor. I don't have the full specs on it, but it's doing what it should be doing. There's no issues there with my cabling. Okay, so next I'm gonna check the ECU pinout for my knock sensors. All right, so here's what happens next. All right, so what we got going on here, what I did was I took this connector and I took out I separated the pinout from inside the connector, right? And you can see here, the one that's still in there is the shield, and the one that I took out is the one that actually goes to the ECU. All right, so now I'm gonna check continuity back to the ECU. And I have my multimeter set to beep, so it'll beep when it checks when there's continuity. All right, and so first one I'm gonna check is the shield testing it to the ground circuit. And so here we go. Let's see. All right, you hear that? All right, that's the sound of the thing going. All right, now if I check it to the circuit going back to the ECU, there's no continuity. All right, so now I'm gonna go back and check it back to the ECU. Okay, so now we have it all wired up. All right, so I got my other lead connected to the pinout from the connector where the sensor goes. All right, and then I got it running to the multimeter. I faced it in so that I could see it, but it's set to beep. Yep, it's on. All right, and it's set to beep. Is it? Yes, it is. All right, cool. So that's set to beep. And here is the harness. I removed the computer. All right, so according to the, sorry guys, it's because I've only got one hand. If I had a GoPro camera, it would be so much easier. All right, so according to my research, the knock sensor is the fourth one back on the top. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be the knock sensor. So I should hear a beep when I test it in there. All right, so let's see here. That is 1. All right, let it focus. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. Let's see. Okay, I'm not. What is going on here? Okay, so it's the fourth one from the top. Am I here? No. Did it turn off? No, it's still on. Why am I not getting continuity? Oh, I see. Okay, so I got it going. 1, 2, 3, 4 from the right. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there it goes. All right, so I got continuity there. Okay, and this is telling me that it is 1, 2, 3, 4 from the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. It really should be 4 from the left. All right, back to my research. All right, y'all, so here's a quick update. Computer, what had I done? I thought that I had probed back the wires for the knock sensor, and I had whatchamacallit, we get this down right quick. All right, I can only think of one thing at a time. I'm a one-track mind. All right, I had probed back the wires back here to what I thought was the knock sensor, being in here, being this black wire. It's like the fourth one in there next to the green wire. My dumbass, what I did was that I didn't realize that I was looking at the pinout on the computer side when I was probing it, that the diagram is the diagram for the computer. And when I was probing it on the connector side. So what happened? I was probing it back and getting my details in the inverse. And so then I had thought that I had these guys switched out, but they were not switched out. So I ended up splicing them. You can see here my UF connectors here, that I had spliced them, and I got it up and running. And I had the same error code. I had error codes that were then tied back to I forget what it was, the temperature sensor and some other shit like that. And lo and behold, when I actually paid attention and I was like following the connection, I realized that I spliced the wrong sensors, the wrong connectors, the wrong wires here. And so I had mismatched my configuration. So I had to put it all back together again. All right, everything's back together again. And just to point you here to these UF connectors, or these guys here. I've had these for a while. And what's really cool about them is that you can simply slide the wires in there, and then you press down on this little thing, and it's got a little metal crimp that crimps down. You could kind of see it in there, and it's got that electric grease inside of it. And these are pretty cool. I used to use these a lot when I used to be a technician out in the field in process equipment, and we would have to splice shit back together again. And also comes with these guys right here. Anyways, you can see all the shit that I did here, the big mess that I made, and I fucked up a lot of shit, and I hate it when that happens. And I got a shitload of connectors here, and you could see the dirt in there from the grease. All right, these are good. I'd recommend these to be used. And here's some that I had to pop back open. And the cool thing is that if you need to undo them, you just take some pliers to them, and you just squeeze here, boom, and then this little cap falls off, and you could take it apart and take apart your wires again. All right, I digress. Let's get back to it. Code 52, right? So what's going on? I'm really throwing a code 52 error. I got continuity all the way back there. So what did I do? In my testing, I hooked up this guy right here. This is from ATS Racing. This is supposed to be an S10 knock sensor adapted to a machined adapter that is shaped just like our original knock sensor. And by the way, let me add that I had a brand new knock sensor and a brand new pigtail here. This is the original pigtail here. And here's my connectors there that I was showing you earlier. All right, cool. Anyways, so I tested it with this guy, and after I tested it, I drove it, and I had no more knock sensor issues. So I've adapted it to the hook. All right, I've drilled a hole in there, and I've tapped it with a 12 by 125 thread pitch. That's the pattern for this guy here. All right. And I'm gonna install it, and that's the fix, guys. So if you're throwing a real knock sensor error, code 52, it should just might be real. I probed it all the way back, and I am getting continuity. And I tested the sensor. I think I captured that in an earlier video, and you can see the knock sensor picking up knocking sound. It's supposed to be based off of the same technology that you have in microphones, so it's basically a microphone. By the way, this isn't the real sensor. That's just the machine part. This is the new sensor, S10 adapted, crimped into the Toyota connector, And that was it, guys. That's what resolved it for me. So I'll provide an update after I smog it. All right, so check it out. So here it is installed. And what have I done? I've installed it in here, and it's a little difficult to see once all the once these hoses are hooked back in. So when they do a visual inspection, it's kind of like where my hand is at. And you know, you might want to tell the guy, hey, you know, I had to bypass the knock sensor, but you don't really have to say anything, and they just do a quick visual, and it's not going to be seen. And so I'm routing the wire right back through here. Here you can see it's reconnected, and here's my knock sensor down here in the engine bay, and there's a brand new real knock sensor in there for reals. I'm not gonna fuck with it anymore. I'm tired of fucking with this guy. So I was having O2 issues, and maybe that's what was causing this guy to throw, but man, I'm done. If this guy throws another error, the one down here, the brand new one, then maybe I'll switch back to this guy and try it again, because there are some changes since the last time that I tried this guy, but I'm just so over it. I don't feel like dealing with it anymore. That I've invested in this, and this worked, so I'm leaving it at that. Right? That's sometimes what we do as technicians and mechanics, man, is that we've tried everything, and we're at wit's end, and we got something that works, and so we go with it. So what can I tell you about this? So my engine is really knocking, and that's what my knock sensor is throwing me an error for. My original knock sensor, this guy down here, and it's down there. It's way in there. If I want to access it, I got to remove all this. I got to remove the plenum and the intake manifold that's down there, and it's too much work. All right, I'm breaking the closed loop that we have here with this coolant, because we got coolant running through there, and then I'm breaking the closed loop for the fuel, because I got the fuel rails, and then my fuel rails, they got crush washers in them, and it's a hassle. It's a good learning process though. If you've never done it before, I would suggest that you get down in there and tear into it. It's good to know your 3VZ engine. All right, so I forgot what I was saying. I lost my train of thought here, but yeah, so that was it. I was coming here to show you what it looks like installed, and there it is, installed, connected. Right, so it's connected. This is my computer wiring harness. This is my wiring harness, and this goes back through the firewall back there and into the computer. All right, and I do have good continuity there. Wiring harness is also a pretty good wiring harness. On a scale from 1 to 10, I'd say it's probably about a 7 in terms of its shape. I actually went to the yard and pulled it from a truck that was pretty well taken care of. So yeah, the connectors, all the connectors, they were still in pretty good shape. I had a few wires that were brittle, but from the old harness that I took out of here that I showed you earlier, I was able to take a few connectors and bring them in. So yeah, check out some other videos that I got of the upgrades that I'm doing to this truck. All right, guys.